in essence, have our own business, but, you know, I'll say they're like my boss, you know, even though we are all independent, you know, business owners. So what exactly will they be doing? Well, I know they're going to talk about ARCs. They're going to talk about why ARCs, of course, why they decided to formulate ARCs. They're going to probably talk about the things that they've seen in their past. And based on what they've seen in their past, they go, this is why we started a company like this. Where ARCs currently is, I'm sure for a lot of us here, some of us here have a lot of experience. I'm sure we want to see where ARCs currently stands. And their take on ARCs' future. However they decide to put that in a package, I have no idea. But if you've ever seen these two talk together, it's always been a powerhouse. It's always been a powerhouse. I'm sure once people heard, oh man, they're together, gotta come out for this. The last time they came out like this was 3 years ago. All through the world, people would love to have them together. So I'm assuming the first person I'm bringing up is gonna be our president. So how many of us here want to hear from our president? A round of applause.
Feeling good, huh? I'm gonna come up here so I can see you all. Handsome devils, good-looking women. Wow. ARCs does something to people, doesn't it? You know, look at Fred, how much better he's getting, I'm telling you. I'm first anyway, so I know he's gonna rip me, so let's get it over with. He was giving me a bad time about my funky socks, so I'm gonna get it over with right now, yeah. He's just jealous. So, you know, we'll help Fred with taste in the future. We're still working on him, all right? So, we have a lot of fun together, and you know what? Duke's right. We've been so busy over the last 3 years that we've hardly had any opportunities to come out and have fun with everybody together. And this used to be one of my favorite parts, is we come out and we share with you and we interact and we have some fun. And so today we're going to try and do that. And can we be interactive? That's what I love about this group. I brag about you all over the world. I say, you know what? You want energy, you want feedback, you need to come to SoCal, NorCal, that's where it's at. So, hello everybody. And Canada better be listening, right? All right, my Canadian friends, hey. I met them just about a month ago, and some good things happening up north. So, folks, that's what's so exciting about this opportunity, about this business, about where we're going as a company. And I don't know if you really realize and understand what's happening and what you're part of. Some of you are sitting in the back seat, kind of cruising along, like Elvis. Come on, Elvis, stand up, man. Dude, you're getting matching bonus on these guys. Whoa, you should just like, thank you. James, they should be washing that car of yours. That's what he should be doing, yeah. All right. You better get the first ride in the Rolls Royce though, right? Okay. There we go. No, and I'm giving Elvis crap because I know his potential and I know what he has and his ability, and I know each of you have that same opportunity. But some of you, and what I want to talk about today is you're sitting back and you're watching these other folks create their success stories, their dream lives, and you're sitting back going, well, no, you know, I'd like to be part of that, but I don't know, and you're going to show up again in a year, and you know, maybe I should get busy, and you're going to be a wee-wuzzer, right? A wisher, a dreamer that never really does anything, and I don't want that to happen for you. That's what ARCs is about. So Duke asked me, he said, look, we'd like to know a little bit about your history. And I hate talking about my history, but okay, we'll go through this. So let's go with the first slide real quick. We'll get that through. Anybody ever heard of this company? Yeah. All right, Melaleuca. All right? It is not a weed that grows wild in Florida. Oh, well, it does actually grow wild in Florida, and it's actually a nuisance, okay? They brought it over from Australia. True story. When I was there, we used to get this mixed up all the time because the Melaleuca plant is this weed that grows like crazy, and they planted it in some areas of Florida to suck up all the water to dry up the ground, and it went so crazy that it was out of control and it was a nuisance. So, not that I think Melaleuca is a nuisance or anything like that, but we had that mistake happen all the time as we were growing as a company. And I was asked, Melaleuca started in 1985, all right? Started originally as a company called the Tea Tree Company by a couple of brothers. Short story, they were out buying beef jerky in Australia. They owned a company called King Bee Jerky, and they saw this Melaleuca oil, this tea tree oil, all right? And they said, wow, this looks cool. This could be an MLM. So they ran home to Idaho Falls, and they started up this business. It was a flaming pyramid, okay? It was so illegal that it was just like, no, okay? And to give him credit due, Frank Vandersloot was a brother-in-law, came in, helped them get going. In 1985, they started that company. I believe in their first year in 1986, if I remember right, it was like, don't quote me, because if you miss anything with them, they may get a little upset. But I believe it was $1 million in sales their first year. Now, who knows what RX did in its first year? All right, okay. So there's a little difference, right? Not great at math like Fred, but there is a little difference, okay? So we started to grow. I was asked to come on board in 1991. I was a call center expert, so I managed large call centers. I'm just this young, arrogant young kid that was working for a company that, it's actually the world's largest call center. It's called Convergys now. At the time, it was Matrix Marketing. And they have call centers all over the world. And I was managing large call centers, and Melaleuca was growing like crazy. They actually had a lumber store that they were working out of. And they had this little building. And when I walked in, their call center reps taking their orders were sitting on folding tables and those milk crates where they're filing things, right? So needless to say, there was nowhere to go but up. There was some good opportunity, right? They were growing. The year before, they had done 29 million in sales. My first year, we did 100 million in sales. So growth started to happen. I was with them for about 3.5 years. It was a great time. I love the industry. I love what it does to help the average person shift from the mindset. And if you don't realize this already, this is what you do. You help people shift from that employee mindset to entrepreneur mindset. Now it sounds simple, but I'm telling you it is so difficult because you are fighting generations of what James and Becky just said. Did you hear James when he said, what did their parents expect? Go to school, get good grades, stay out of trouble, right? We all heard that. And then James, what did your folks think when you said you were starting an MLM?
Oh man, they cried.
Say that again.
They cried.
Tears of joy. My boy, I've always dreamed he would be an MLMer. Direct sales, it's what we've always hoped for, right? Okay? So, the industry is very misunderstood at times, but the reality is there's companies like Melaleuca, and quite frankly I have a lot of respect for them because they continue to grow. My next year we went to 200 million, the next year to 300 million, the next year to 350 million, and it curtailed for a little while, and then they got things going, and a lot of companies do. They have a little saddle effect where it kind of settles and they have to reinvent and make sure they're headed on and over the next period of 25 years or so, Melaleuca now is a $1 billion a year company, okay? So they've continued to grow around the world and expand, and please don't call them MLM because they're consumer direct marketing, and they've actually very litigious about if you call them a direct sales or multi-level company. But I'm not going to get into that debate today. Great company, great products, good things driven to end consumers, right? So it works. When people tell me, oh, that industry doesn't work, I've tried that, it doesn't work. I'm just like, are you kidding me? That is just one example of many, many companies that are experiencing that success. Now, I personally left because I saw some things behind the curtain. You know, you ever see Oz, you know, the man behind the curtain? And that was not my favorite thing, and it wasn't my gig, and I thought, okay, there's some things there that I don't agree with, and so I left and moved on, had a couple of years out having fun as an entrepreneur, and one of my good friends, who was the CFO at this company, talked to me about a new company. Next slide. USANA, all right? USANA came along, and they were founded in 1992. Hey, Duke, I found this picture. Look at this, dude. Who's that little guy right there, man? That's Duke. All right. He was making the front covers from almost day one. Look at that, man. So, USANA started, and it took them about 6 months to convince me to come on board. I actually did not want to join them. I said, no, I don't want to be an employee. I know where I'm heading. I know the egos. I interviewed, I met with them, and I met with the team, and I kept thinking, wow, they seem like a good team. I got this whole pitch about, well, we're a publicly traded company. We can't lie about our numbers. We can't make up stories. I thought, well, okay, that sounds good, because there were some other things, let's just say, on the other side that I didn't like. And so in 1996, I finally bit the bullet, went back to work, and said, okay, I'm going to go to work for USON. Had a great ride. The year before, they were about 24 million in sales, so very similar in experience. They're about, as you can see, about 4 years old. Their first year, I think they did about 3 million in sales. How many sales did we do in our first year? Oh, yeah, okay, I just want to make sure you don't forget that point. All right. So, as we went along and we were growing and we were having fun, a lot of transition, a lot of changes. Duke and Steve and many of the leaders that were in USANA, or many of you that were there, you saw those changes. You saw the transition of the things that were going on. Now, it was a fun ride. I won't tell you it wasn't. I met Dr. Fred Cooper. That's where we became friends. And I don't know why, man. It's like we're so different, but I just love him. You know, he's just amazing. All right, he really is. I know, a little affection there, Fred. I just don't want you to rip me too bad on my socks is why I'm doing this, okay? All right. So we met, and we had a lot of fun. And what we realized at USANA, just to give you a little bit of the history, is that no one was stepping up in the leadership role in that company, and they were under a lot of concern because one of their top leaders, a gentleman by the name of Dallin Larson, if you've ever followed the industry, he went off and started another company called Mona V. By the way, I think they just got sold and acquired by another company. So, too bad to see that legacy gone, right? As we see what's going on in the industry, we had an opportunity to make a difference. And we really felt like, for many years, we had an opportunity there. We felt like we could really make a difference because the products were good. We had a good compensation plan. We had nice, solid growth. It wasn't anything, crazy, but it was just nice and steady, and it was reliable. Now that company, we grew to over 550 million in sales, and in 2011, after years of just really combating with the ownership of what they believed how the representative in the field should be treated versus how we felt that they should be treated and what we were seeing, we realized it was time to step away. And it was hard. Okay, there was tearful moments, there was opportunity there that we just said, really? We were making great money, okay? It was a publicly traded company. You could even go look up and see what we were making. And, Fred was the president and COO. I was the chief sales officer, so I was in charge of all the field and working with them. And we were very well taken care of from a financial standpoint. If you looked at an income, you would say, wow, okay. On an annual basis, you can eke out a living with what we were doing, all right? The problem was the integrity wasn't there. And I don't know if you've ever gotten to this point in your job or your career where you're doing something that you don't believe in as much, and you start to wonder, am I doing more good or more harm to the people I'm working with? And then your moral values are starting to get questioned more and more about, you find things out you didn't know when you started. You find out what was behind the curtain that you thought, well, wait a minute, I'd always been told this story about how the company was founded or the vision or whatever, and now I'm finding out that it was written on a napkin by the marketing guy. Wow, and it starts to tug on you just a little bit. In fact, one of the best compliments that we've ever been given, that I've ever personally been given about RX was, I think it's one of the few that I've ever heard of that actually didn't start with some crazy story or a lie, right? So often we get so encouraged in marketing and we get so enamored with that we start telling these tall tales. And it was really funny when we started, and Steve, and we've had this debate about this and discussion several times about, RX doesn't have one of these, we were in the deepest, darkest jungle and we tripped over this miracle berry that changes your life, right? Okay? I dream of a world. No, I'm not going there, sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I was in a good mood today. All right. That's Martin Luther King. What do you mean? Right? All right. Okay. So, we decided, here's an idea. What if we started a company that really did look at what the industry needed? What if we started a company that wasn't built on a lie, a myth, a story, a tall tale, that really did look at fundamentals in business and took advantage of those fundamentals in an industry that is exploding? Because the direct sales industry is exploding. Whether you want to see it or not, you just seen people, brought up here and their checks are growing and you're saying, well, okay, that's nice, but what about me? It's, what are you doing? And that's what I'm going to challenge you on today. What are you doing to take part in one of the most exciting industries there is today? That's why you're in this room today. That's why you're going to hear from our CEO, who is the bomb when it comes to compensation plans. Okay? And I'm so cocky about this. I have given a challenge since we started this company in 2011. My challenge has still remained to this day. And to this day, I've had no one take me up on this. And I still challenge the industry. I've said this publicly. I've said this recorded. You can record me if you want. And that is, I believe RX has the best compensation plan there is in the industry. I am so confident in that. It's always great. You know what? In school, did any of you have a really big, tough friend? Yeah. He's kind of the enforcer. Yeah. See, Fred is kind of my enforcer when it comes to comp plan. All right? So I walk up and I'm the little scrawny guy going, oh yeah? I'm going to challenge you, right? My challenge is this to the industry. And that is, if you think you've got a better compensation plan, I challenge you to an open discussion with your owner and our owner, Dr. Fred Cooper, to an open discussion on the value and benefits of your comp plan versus the RX compensation plan. Open challenge. And you know what? I have yet to have anybody take me up on that. The only rule I've asked for is that we get to record it so that I can use it for later. That's the only thing I want. Seriously. And we've had people say, oh yeah, we'll do it, we'll take it up, didn't we, Fred? We had a guy just a couple months ago, I'm gonna take him on. And so I said, great. And the lady called, she was all nervous. She's like, Mark, they actually said they would. And I said, great. And she said, well, aren't you nervous? And I said, you don't know Fred very well, do you? She's like, well, no, but you sure? And I said, absolutely. So we got on the phone. I was trying to set up the date and time. And all of a sudden, the guy just disappeared. Disappeared. And I kept sending him emails. Hey, we're ready. When do you want to? And Fred's like, well, where's this guy that supposedly wants to take me on, right? And so, folks, I don't need to know everything about the comp plan. You don't need to know everything about the comp plan. You're going to learn more about it today, but your confidence should be over the top when it comes to that. Your confidence in each aspect of the company should be over the top, because that's what RX is all about. That's what we want to do, is we want to collaborate with the very best minds, the very best talent in each of the areas. We believe we have the best talent in the field. I would compare our top leaders to any company there is. Okay? The problem is we're comparing to companies that are 30 and 40 years old, and we're going, well, yeah, look at their success. And I'm like, well, duh, you've been doing it for 30 years. Let's compare in 30 years when our leaders and see how much Duke and Steve and all these guys will be making, all right? I'm glad to. Let's challenge it. I'll do history for history. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Who knows who Rich DeVos is? A couple of hands go up. Anybody else? Some of you youngins don't know. This is what Rich DeVos said. The only thing that stands between a person and what they want in life is the will to try and the faith to believe it is possible. So, Mr. Armando,
Yes, sir.
Who is Rich DeVos?
He was one of the top leaders in Amway.
He was one of the founding leaders, top leaders in Amway. There you go, man. Good answer. All right. Okay. This man helped, really, him and his partner, they did the unthinkable. They created a company that is, to this day, the leader. They had over $10 billion a year, okay? With B, all right? That's a lot of sales. Another fun fact, did you know that in Amway, 45% of their sales are Nutrilite sales? Nutrilite, nutrition.
Yes.
Well, so I know Duke's giving me crap about only having 4 products when we started, but you know what? Hey, I'm just teasing. Rich DeVos had a vision. Do you think that he had difficulties when he helped start that company? Absolutely. Do you think they struggled? Do you know why they went into the soaps and everything?
Yes.
Why is it?
Because of the big depression?
Depression, and they were worried the government was going to regulate multivitamins, and they thought they were going to take them away, so they had to diversify.
Exactly.
And so they started creating all this. And so when I grew up, I thought Amway was soaps. That's what I thought. I had no idea they had nutrition and other things. I thought, well, it's laundry detergent, right? Soaps, cleaning products. That man created something that is a legacy. And unless somewhere along the way, the kids somehow totally screw this thing up, it's going to be pretty difficult to have that legacy fall apart, isn't it? Now, they don't have the best comp plan. They don't even brag that they have the best comp plan. They just know they've built a foundation that is a legacy. And they're great at training and educating and inspiring individuals. In fact, I have a lot of respect for them because they've blazed a trail for many of us. And I think it's an amazing thing when you see these folks and what they've been able to create for all of us, the opportunity, because they open the door for so many of us to be able to have what we have today. So, as we move along, I want you to remember that. And the key is the very last part, what we believe is possible. Because right now, what you're struggling with is what you believe is possible. At the end of the day, it's not what I believe, it's not what your leader Vern or others believe, it's what you believe is possible. Because if you believe it, you're unstoppable. When you don't and you're not congruent, you're going to struggle, you're going to have difficulties, you're going to find weaknesses, you're going to find errors. I had to laugh the other day. Somebody called up and they just wanted to quit the business. They were done. They were frustrated and everything because they had one bottle that had a capsule that had broken open and got powder on it. And if this is how this goes, then I did. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And I'll tell you, I wanted just to say, you should quit because you're just wasting my time. Okay? Now, from my customer service side, I was like, I am so sorry, let me make that up here. So if you ever call the wine, you'll know that I'm giving you the BS, right? I do care, I'm just kidding. But it cracks me up because I look at that and I go, where is your vision? What are you looking at? Are you kidding me? Right? You need to stop looking at all the little excuses to give me a reason why to quit this business and say, what do I need to do to advance and not be distracted? Because so many people get distracted. We love to talk about all the errors, all the problems, all the things that are going on in our life. And we hate to focus on the positive moving forward because it scares us. Because we're afraid we may fail if it's really up to us. So, like Dr. Cooper says, okay? What is the best strategy? Have a good scapegoat, right? Just kidding. All right, let's move on to the next. All right. Who can tell me what the RX vision is? Vision. Okay? Vern. Go ahead, Vern. What is it?
Unleash the human potential for good.
Sorry, say it one more time.
Unleash the human potential for good.
Unleashing the human potential for good. Okay, Vern, good answer. Hey, he's doing computer stuff and he's answering questions. What's wrong with the rest of you? I'm going to give you 51. There you go. All right, buddy. Don't spend that all in one place here in California. All right. We travel around the world and I come home with all this money. I don't know what to do with it, but I figured it out today. All right. Okay. So, unleashing the human potential for good. Okay, would you flip that next screen? We spent a lot of time talking about the company and what we were all about. Now, I still believe to this day, and I hate losing, I had this great long 2-paragraph vision statement that was amazing. And Dr. Cooper just didn't appreciate it, nor did the rest of my partners, but anyway, we came up with what actually I am in love with. Unleashing the human potential for good. Because really what we're talking about is each and every one of you personally and individually in a unique way, it's about unleashing your potential. It's about finding what you're great at and unleashing that to a way that you would never be able to do in a normal environment, in a job environment. We heard about, Duke was telling stories about, who was it that was back here that was?
Eddie.
Eddie, stand up, man. Breathe again. Title advancement, yeah! Right? Okay, thank you, Eddie. Eddie, when we hear experiences about limitations, we hear experiences about employers exploiting, using, and then getting rid of people. That happens every day, all day long, and will continue. Why? Because you're a commodity. No matter how important you think you are as an employee, and I'm sorry, and I'm sure there's a few exceptions of employers that still have that old school mentality of, I'm going to take great care of my employees and I value them more than what the society says we should, because the bottom line typically in most companies is what? The second that things are not going well, we look at where we cut. And if labor's where we cut it. I'm sorry that you have a family. I'm sorry that you have a mortgage. I'm sorry that you have all these things. It doesn't matter, right? You don't see typically, every once in a while, there are always exceptions, people can walk up and show me, and I've seen them myself, where an owner would literally go broke before he would let his employees down. That is so rare, okay? Why is that? Because they're taking care of number one, right? And you know why? You've heard this phrase over and over your whole life. It's business. It's just business, right? So there's a difference here, because what we want to do is teach you how to shift from that employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset and say, I'm going to take control of my life, my destiny, and my future, and I don't have to be beholden to someone else and worrying about what their whims are, their decisions in my life and in my strategy. Steve Schwartz wakes up in the morning and he makes me jealous because he's like, yeah, I went down to the beach, did my workouts, got a little, Starbucks, life's good. Oh, you're in a snowstorm in Utah, or you're traveling around the world. Sucks to be you, right? He controls his life. Okay, now that doesn't mean he doesn't have to work and put those in, but he makes his own decisions. I don't call him up and say, Steve, if you want your check next week, you better get your butt into the office and get to work. Right? It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's so free. You can't even imagine that. That's what we want to do. We want to help you with that. So I want you to write that down. I want you to think about how you're going to unleash your human potential for good. How can RX help you with that? So let's go to the next slide. What are the 4 pillars? When we created the company, we created 4 pillars. And I just want one of those to start with. What, you know one?
Generous heart.
Generous heart. All right. Yep. Generous heart's one of them. Let me get out my stash of international currency here. How about a Canadian $5? That's actually worth about $5. It's kind of cool looking too, isn't it? Look at that. Right. Okay. Who knows another one?
Personal development.
Personal development is number 2. Okay. So hang on. Let's see. Already given out some. Oh, Hong Kong. Look how pretty these are. This is Hong Kong dollars. That's 10 Hong Kong dollars. All right? Okay, you know one?
I think it's ambition.
No, but I'm going to give you 51 just for being brave. All right. Okay, right over there. Let's see. Whoop. Stand up and shout it out. Healthy body. All right. Good. Let's see. Ooh, 1,000 won. All right, there you go. Will you pass that down to him? All right. Okay, so we've got 3. There's one more left. One more left. Oh, wait, I think someone over here had their hand up first. Who had their hand up first? Sorry, he was more aggressive, dude. You need to speak up. If you don't speak up, I don't know.
Healthy finances.
Close. I'll give you 5. Whatever that is. I don't know. You want to try? He was close.
I was going to say healthy finances too.
Okay. It's close. They got half of it right. What is it? Wait, your hand.
Strong finances.
Strong finances. Let's give the applause. Here we go. All right. Here. Here you go. I'm going to give you that. Plus that. I'm just in a good mood today. I don't know. It's Fred's money anyway. Look, I even have, you're going to love this, an infinity ring. I got him out of the bubblegum machine, but it's okay. It still means something, right? Okay. So, 4 pillars. Let's go, click the next slide. Healthy body, strong finances, personal development, and generous heart. Folks, that's what RX is built upon. Those 4 pillars.
Wow.
Each of those pillars, you're going to look at your life, and throughout your career in RX. This is not a 1-year, 2-year thing. This is a lifetime commitment that you're making as you move forward with your team to look at these areas, because we're always improving. All right? I was so excited when I saw the Okay, stand up. How many people participated in the most recent Slenderize contest? Would you stand up? Stand up, guys. Let's give them an applause. I have to tell you, thank you, all right? I was so impressed, and Fred was so impressed, and Jeff and Riley and the whole team, we were so impressed. We were like, dang, this stuff works. These people have made some transformations that are amazing, okay? And it encouraged and got us excited. Folks, it doesn't matter if you're a perfect 10 today. We're not looking for that. Most of you are working along your journey. I love the stories that I read about people that maybe had slipped a little bit, or maybe they had good health, they just wanted a little better. That's what this is about, is moving along that scale. When you find somebody in this product and they want to improve their life and their health a little bit, please don't ever make them feel bad because they're not a perfect granola eating broccoli loving freak, okay? If you do that, you failed, okay? Because what we need to do is embrace everybody. This is for everyone. And if they're Bubba who loves beer and smoking and bacon on their burger, then you know what you need to do? You need to show them that if they'll just make one little lifestyle change, one little health change, just take vitamins and feel a little better. Have you improved Bubba's life? Yeah. Of course you have. You should celebrate. You should feel good about that. You shouldn't be going to Bubba and say, you loser, you need to be clear over here eating broccoli and vegan and all that. No. We're moving along the scale. Shame on you if you're judging other people where you think they should be. It's their personal choice to decide where they want to be. And that's what each of you have an opportunity. And so often we're so hung up on the next one, which is strong finances, we forget about all of the successes we're having when it comes to healthy body. And I'm not talking just weight loss. I'm talking just healthier individuals. I've seen so many life-changing experiences with great nutrition, with removing toxins from their home, with drinking more pure water, with all of the aspects that we look at. Because see, RX doesn't look at, we're not a nutrition company. We're not a skincare company. We're not a personal care company. We're not a weight loss company. We're not a juice company. RX is an opportunity company. You need to understand that, because each of these brands that we provide to you are experiences that you can help build your business over time with a legacy. Not a trend today, gone tomorrow. All right? But you're making differences in people's lives. So the next thing I want you to not forget and write down is to make sure you are constantly celebrating the successes, the little successes with people in their health. When someone calls up and says, hey, I feel healthier, I feel better, I've never felt like I've had more energy, you should celebrate with them and let them know, see, the products work, it's great. Okay? Don't get so hung up on the extremes. So often we judge it based on the 10 and not the, you've moved from 1 to 2. That's progress. I've made somebody's life better. You get that? You understand that? If you will do that, your business will grow amazingly. Because you'll build lifelong customers that aren't evaluating the RX whether I'm making money or not. They'll become lifelong consumers of your product and say, I can't live without these because of the way I feel, the way I look, the energy, the health I realize, right? Who's a little tired? Oh, she's yawning back there. Here we go. All right, here we go. There, share that. Okay, nice catch. All right, so pass that around to anybody else you see yawning, okay? All right, because Fred's coming up next, and I don't want you falling asleep when Fred speaks. All right? Okay, so strong finances is next. Now the money part is fun, and quite frankly, no one wants to admit this. We all say, well, I'm here for the product, right? Because you're embarrassed to admit that you're here for the money. I have heard this for 25 years. I've been in the industry, and I promise you, every company I've been at, people say, why'd you join? I joined because I want to live a healthier life, and I want to improve my health. And I'm just sitting there going, you liar. You joined because you want the money, right? Okay? Don't be embarrassed to be an entrepreneur. Don't be embarrassed to make a profit. Okay? You are a business owner, and you got to think like a business owner. You got to be proud of what you represent. If you're embarrassed of the price, you've lost, right? Because you don't even believe it's a great thing. You need to be proud that you're representing the best products, the finest new research and development, all of those pieces. And in this, we provided one of the best compensation plans I've ever seen.
Yes. Second to none.
Second to none? I've got my challenge. You know my challenge, right? Don't even need to be a compliment. People say, what's a compliment? I don't know. I don't even care. Why? I just know we have the best. Give them the challenge, right? Make them go do the homework. All right? I would love nothing more than Fred on a recording. So it would be great. All right? Strong finances. The truth of the matter is, and I'll let Fred will share this with you, we just did average earnings, didn't we, Coop? It changed again this year, so he can talk about that. We are so proud of what we're providing and the income we're providing for individuals. Now, it's not like some companies where you got somebody standing up saying, I make $1 million a month right now. Well, folks, we're 73 million in the company right now. If I was paying someone $12 million, what would that mean for the rest of you? Well, I might afford a one or two, right? Okay? It would be very little, wouldn't it? So we have a balanced compensation plan to grow with the things that are going on. But the matching bonus is one of my favorite. To think that you can go out and find winners that grow and build this business with you, and that there is no limit to what you can earn and your potential, creates that connection that is forever. I've seen Steve Schwartz, this man right here. I'm going to brag about him a little bit. By the way, good looking socks. Steve, look at that. All right. Steve traveled last month ago. Was it about a month ago we were in? He went from city to city to city throughout Europe to support his new leader. Okay? Some of those meetings were disappointing. Some of those were what I call secret meetings. The ones where no one else knows about them but you. Right? You ever had a secret meeting? Everybody, you ever had a secret meeting? Okay, you're going to have secret meetings, I promise you, okay? And somehow you're going to go, what the crap, man? I thought I promoted, I thought I was the bomb diggity, right? And I walk in and it's me and a bunch of chairs. That's why you never put the chairs out till you make sure everybody's there, right? Okay. But Steve was there supporting, having fun with. He was up till all hours of the night with them and then back up in the morning, and he was on. I mean, he was there helping them, supporting them, and encouraging them. Now here's a man who's one of our top income earners in the world, and yet he's willing to go out and help invest in this brand new builder and this new leader. Why is he willing to do that? Because he understands the principles, not just the income that comes in from the base commissions, but he understands that if I develop a great leader in Europe, I have something that will never stop rewarding my family. Right. That's a legacy business. That's what's so cool about what we've created. So his investment, his vision is not, oh, I'm going to get to a point where I cap out. It is, wow, there is no limit. And who knows who she's going to connect to, and who they're going to connect to, and who they're going to connect to. That's what's so cool about this business. What Duke just talked about. The reason he's willing to help somebody several generations down is because of the brilliance of our matching bonus. So strong finances, I'm not going to spend any more on that because I'll let Dr. Cooper talk about that. Personal development. Now as a young company, I'm going to tell you, we haven't gone far enough on this yet. I'd give ourselves a little lesser of a grade on this one than I would some of the other areas because we're young, we're just getting started. But you know, we have all kinds of opportunities there already. There are trainings in the boss. If you haven't gone through that and you haven't learned that, your leaders provide trainings. You're here today to learn, to be encouraged, and you need to be studying. You need to be reading the best books. You need to be preparing your mind on a regular basis and hanging out with positive, good people because personal development is so important in this business. So important. And as you develop, you'll see your business develop as well. I've watched this with leaders year after year after year, and as they increase who they are and they work on themselves harder than anyone else in the personal development field, their business follows along. So never stop learning, and that's one of the great things about RX is I believe you will see the day that we will have people join your business just for the personal development. They'll say, I don't care about the money, I don't care about the product, I just want to develop myself as a human being, and that's where you're going to see RX go, all right, as we continue. That's our vision. Finally, generous heart. Generous heart, and this team's done a great job, and I need to applaud you early on. I know the checks haven't been, when you're first starting, you're kind of like, young entrepreneurs. Hey, you're barely eking out a living. We understand what that's like. We understand what it's like to invest in your business. It's called delayed gratification. All right? I just talked to a gentleman this week who started up. Do you guys have Pro Images out here? They sell sports jerseys and hats and stuff like that. He built it up to 250 stores. He's out of Utah there. And we were talking about it. Now the ironic thing is he sold this for a bunch of money, and today he's trying to start over because it didn't last, right? We talk about residual and the strength there. Sometimes no matter how much you think you make, it doesn't always last, or you invested in things that don't maybe turn it out. That's one of the beautiful things about this. But we were talking about charity and giving back and being involved in things, and he was very impressed with RX in this aspect, that we thought about this from day one. We're not waiting until we're $1 billion company and saying, well, we should look like we care, right? You guys are doing a great job, and we're going to let you help us decide what we need to be involved in. So don't be afraid to be involved in good causes and giving back, because as we become successful, we want to make sure that we are known as a community for giving back. All right? Had some wonderful experiences already. Taiwan, that we donated a bunch of money. They did a fundraiser there amongst the reps to the blind school. And when I heard these kids' stories that mom and dad literally, and I don't know how anybody does this, just dropped their child off at this school and just left them at an orphanage because they said, well, you know, you're going to be difficult to work with because you're blind or hearing impaired. And yet I thought, how could you do that? But then watching what the school is doing to have them dream again, and they talked about their dreams, their aspirations, the things they wanted to do, and knowing that RX is a part of that and helping contribute to that and helping them dream again, I was so proud that knew we were involved in something like that. We have those things going on all around the world. So don't be afraid to be involved in that aspect as well. And those are 4 areas, okay? Let's go to the next slide. I like this. I saw this the other day. We all die. The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will. All right? If you're creating your business for a get rich quick, I'm going to make a few bucks this year and then be done, this is the wrong company for you. We want to create something that is going to outlast you. All right? In fact, I tell our top leaders, I have a goal for you to become irrelevant even in your business over time, so that you're passing on the generations to your up and coming leaders. All right? Your legacy. But I hope your vision is to create a legacy business that will stand generations of time. Like the DeVos, passing down from generation to generation the opportunity to have them grow it even bigger. When Rich passed it on to his sons, now watching what they've done and created, I'm sure he was proud, and they're doing the same thing as they're passing on to their legacy. And that's what we want you to do with your RX business, is to think about this as a generational business. So when you're making decisions, don't worry about the short term. Don't worry about the little hiccups that happen today. That's one little blip in the time of this history that we're going to be looking at. Steve's kids are going to be fighting over who gets what percent and how they're going to run it, right? That's what they're going to be talking about. That's what's so awesome about this business and where we're going. Next, what I want you to ask yourself is, how can RX be a part of that? What does RX do for you to help you achieve your dream life? Right. I want you to think about that a little bit. And as you go home today, I want you to think, okay, how does this vehicle help me? Because really what RX is, it's a vehicle. Yeah. It's an opportunity for you to create that dream life. Right. Do y'all have your dream life? Do you know what your dream life's going to be like? You do? Yes. Okay, I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Everybody stand up. Turn to someone next to you, and I want you to tell them your dream life. Take turns. Let's take 30 seconds each. Tell them your dream life. I want you to tell them all about it. And then I'm going to see how convinced the person is.